What's up everybody, this is Zoya, the Russian Korean. So lately I've been streaming a lot more and just playing, League in general and not just making content about the lore or reacts to different cinematics. And so lots of people kind of have been asking me, and I've answered this question in different contexts and kind of told different stories, but in some detail and sometimes not in much detail at all. But the question has always been, how was it like for you to play League for the first time? What was it like? And what was your experience? I'm sure every one of us has had their own experience, but then also in ways that are kind of similar. Also depends on when you started playing. So I am a very recent kind of player. I started in end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And so obviously like my experience is going to be very different from somebody who started in like season 1 or 2. But still, I thought it would be interesting to share my story, how it all started, and what it was like. Hopefully it's going to be pretty entertaining because when I think back, I think it kind of is. So the way it started was around December of last year, 2019. My husband and I, we went to a PC방. So we're in Korea. Okay, I gotta set the context. We're in Seoul, South Korea. And we go to like an internet cafe, which is basically not really an internet cafe. It's more like a gaming cafe. You know what I'm talking about. And so when I was in there, it was not my first time being there, but it was my first time actually playing something. So the first time I went there was on my first visit to South Korea, and I literally came there to print something out. Like, I didn't come there to play. But this time we came and my husband was like, I'm gonna show you this world of gaming and stuff. And I was like, okay, sure. I remember one thing that was kind of striking to me when I went in there was like, it's not on like a ground floor or anything, but there are no windows. That was a little bit weird to me. We played a little bit of StarCraft, and we played, I think, a little bit of some sort of first-person shooter. It might have been CSGO, but I honestly don't remember. But what I remember was that I was thoroughly and genuinely confused about what I was supposed to do. It was my first time playing StarCraft, first time playing that first-person shooter game, so I was kind of lost, but it was pretty fun just playing with my husband and, being competitive. I thought that that was like a cool experience. The one thing that I noticed was that almost everybody, like 90% of the people at that cafe, and there were plenty of people at that time, they were playing a game. Okay, how can I describe it without knowing what it was? I think that when I first saw it, it was like everything looked kind of green, and there were these lanes, and they were playing different characters, and they were fighting each other. At the time, I did not know that that was League of Legends, but my husband told me, oh yeah, this is like the most popular game here in Korea, period. And so that night, we went back home, and for some reason, my husband was really pumped to play League of Legends. He said, hey, let's play League of Legends. Let's play League of Legends. And I've never played League of Legends. I honestly wasn't very interested, but I remembered that, the experience at the cafe was pretty positive, so I thought, okay, why not? And so we downloaded the game on my computer and on his, and the first thing that you encounter after you register is the tutorial. And in the tutorial, I think you get to try out 4 different champs: Lux, Miss Fortune, Master Yi, and I forgot who the 4th one is. Quite honestly, like when you first start out, there's just so much information that it was overwhelming. Even though I passed the tutorials, I honestly had no idea what I was doing. The tutorials are supposed to teach you the basics, like how to move, how to cast your abilities, how to auto-attack, don't come too close to the turret when there are no minions around you, like stuff like that, the fundamentals. And even that was kind of a little too much to take. I mean, for me, as a person with absolutely no experience in MOBA games, like this was like a very, very first time for me. Yeah, I was just basically overwhelmed. But at the end of the first tutorial, you get to choose your first champion. And I remember thinking, I think it's Miss Fortune, Ari, or Lux. And I chose Lux because I felt like she looked the most normal. And so at the end of the tutorials, actually, so what happened was my husband, he had some experience playing from before in season 2 or 3 or, early on when everything was a lot uglier than it is now. So my husband's brother, so my brother-in-law, he actually was at the time really into TFT. And when he found out that we, registered on League and stuff, he was like, oh, let's play together. And so kind of, even though I went through the tutorials and maybe like 1 or 2 regular, like very basic bot games, I didn't really pursue the regular mode further because we switched to Teamfight Tactics, and that was completely different. And again, a whole new learning curve, but it was not actually as overwhelming as the regular mode. Like, there was not as much to take into account, and there are periods of time when you can kind of sit down and actually read, in between rounds or while the battle is going on. Like, you don't necessarily have to watch too much, you can read what everybody does and what the different synergies do, and you can position, reposition, like, that kind of stuff is just a little easier to take in, at least for me. And so I really liked Teamfight Tactics and started playing that, and kind of completely forgot about the regular mode. And so while I was playing Teamfight Tactics, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try doing some League content on my YouTube channel. And because I started out with started reacting to some of the cinematics and music videos from League of Legends, and that kind of, I guess, caught the attention. And so I thought, maybe I should do a little more League content. And I started doing a little bit more of TFT. Because I started doing that, I started getting suggestions on YouTube for like League videos, and a lot of it, and I noticed that a lot of the content in League is mostly pertaining to the regular mode. Like, TFT is kind of its own universe, but if you're talking League, most of the time you're talking in, the regular mode. And so I thought, I think I need to get more familiar with it if I am going to pursue, League on YouTube. So I became more interested in the regular mode and started playing just like bot games with Lux. Once I sort of got the hang of what I was supposed to do, I decided to, try other champions. I went into the store and looked through everything, and it was way too many. I just remember looking at it and I'm like, how am I supposed to choose? Like, there's just too many of them. So I was mostly looking at the champs that I already knew from TFT because it was kind of an easier transition for me. And my favorite TFT champion by far was Zed. And so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna try Zed. And I bought a Zed with all of the blue essence that I had. He's not really that expensive. And so once I got Zed, my favorite from Teamfight Tactics, I started playing him in bot games, and I realized just how difficult it is to play him because I didn't really know too much about how Zed works, what kind of combos to use, and Zed in himself is a pretty challenging champion, and I didn't know at the time. I just kind of got a champion that I felt a little bit of a connection with. So I played a few games with Zed, and then I got Warwick. I think I got like a champion shard or something, and I was like, ooh, a wolf. And I know Warwick from TFT too. So I got him, and I tried playing Warwick a few times, and actually I kind of liked Warwick. He was a little more simple. I went to the store again, and I believe I got Kane. I'm not sure why I got Kane. I think I just thought that he looked cool. I played a game with Kane, and I realized that he's not for me because I had no idea what I was supposed to do. Mind you, this is all still bot games, okay? Beginner bot games. So, like, I'm not even in the real context yet. It's all just training, But even there, I was confused of what I was supposed to do. So I didn't really play Kane that much. And then I bought Saya because Saya looked cool. I also looked at their abilities, like what they do. And I was like, ooh, she throws feathers and stuff. And that looks pretty cool. I'm gonna get Saya. And, tried a few games. Wasn't too terrible. But like, okay, I think I like Warwick and Saya. I also bought Nunu, I remember. I just had like a shopping spree. I went and bought a few champions that I felt like, I liked. And I liked Nunu because of snowballs, and it just looked fun. Yeah. At that time also, my husband and I started kind of drifting off from TFT a little bit and playing ARAM more. My husband really liked ARAM mode because of the randomness of it, and just, it's a lot quicker than a regular game. I played some of those champions in ARAM, and it was not bad. Like, I actually sort of managed. I wasn't great though. At least I was having fun. And then after I played a few ARAMs, I decided, okay, I think I am ready for the real deal. I went into a normal game as, I believe, Z. So here's the thing. On the Korean server, and those of you who watch my streams, you know this by now, but there is no draft pick normal. There's only blind pick. And so when you go in, you have to call out your role as fast as you can, or just be left with whatever's left. First of all, okay, let's go back here. In bot games, when you play against bots, there's no jungler, right? There's just 2 top, 2 bot, and 1 mid. And that's how I thought things are supposed to be. Now, in our game, for whatever reason, maybe it's because everyone there was a newbie, we did not have a jungler on our team. And so, 2 top, 2 bot, and 1 mid. And I just so happened to be top with somebody. So I went Z top. I don't remember too much from that game, except that it was confusing, but it was very similar to a bot game, like a very challenging bot game. And I thought okay, I think I can do this. I think I can play the regular mode. I did not know much at all at the time. Even though I've played ARAM, even though I've played against bots, for whatever reason, I never asked my husband to tell me how to actually play the game. Because we played TFT and that was fine. We played ARAM and that was fine. And the regular mode, he never played with me. I just played by myself. And I never even, the thought never even crossed my mind to sit down with my husband and be like, okay, can you explain to me how to play this game? I never actually thought of doing that. Also, I did not think of doing my research before going into games. And so because in bot games I was doing fine, ARM I was doing fine, and so I felt like it's just another mode. But little did I know that, the rules of the regular mode are very, very different. I may have benefited if I actually researched before jumping in. But, the fun in all of this is that you don't know anything and you just jump in clueless and you try to figure it out in the fight. And so now we come to the part where my mental was almost broken. So here's the thing. I went on a shopping spree again with champions because I felt like I wasn't really quite satisfied with the champs that I already had, but I played one ARM game and I went as Aphelios. And for whatever reason, that game was just really good for me. I got a lot of kills. I didn't die too much. I dealt a lot of damage. And I was like, you know what? Aphelios is the way to go for me. So I went into the store and Aphelios is 6,300 blue essence. I sold a bunch of champion shards, just cashed out completely to get this Aphelios. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for the regular mode. It just so happened that when I joined the lobby, right? So it's blind pick. Everyone's picking stuff. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go with whatever's left. People are like, okay, we need an ADC. Because I asked, what do we have left? And they're like, okay, ADC. By the way, ADC in Korean is wondil, which is one deal, I guess, is the literal translation. But basically, you deal so much damage, you can one-shot people or something like that. Anyway, you need a dealer. That's the spirit here. I did not know that Aphelios was an ADC or a one deal, but because I was prepared ahead of time, it's just these coincidences that happen in that game. Thinking back, I'm like, how did that even happen? People were like, yeah, we need a one deal, and they see me pick Aphelios, and they're like, okay, good, we got this game. And but I don't know what an ADC is supposed to do. I didn't know that, when I thought that when they said one deal, I thought just somebody who deals a lot of damage. And I didn't know that you're supposed to go in the bot lane. Nobody ever explained to me that one deal or ADC is supposed to go bot. And I still, in my mindset from, games against AI, I felt like, 2 people go top, 2 people go bot, and 1 person goes in the middle. And so in this game, I was supposed to go bot, but I did not know that. And so once the game started, I think our comp was Ornn, Braum, Ahri, me, and then either Lee Sin or, one of those guys, or maybe Master Yi. And so, just thinking about that game, I went top. I went Aphelios top because I did not know where I was supposed to go. And at the time, I will be honest with you, my Korean was not that great. And so people are pinging me, telling me you're going in the wrong direction. And I'm like, where am I supposed to go? Brown says, come to me. So I start walking to Brown, but I don't know if Ari was trolling or what. But she was like, no, stay top. And then there's this confusion. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. So I was like, you know what? I'll just stick with where I went. So I stayed top. Braum is like really mad. Ornn is really mad. Oh, wait. The other person, the jungler was Graves. Yeah, Graves is really mad. Up top, I was matched with Vladimir. And that Vladimir, when he saw me, was like... So, you know, of course, I die, and I die, and I die again. I did not know what Vladimir does. I did not know that he can go untargetable for a certain amount of time, and then I get ganked. Because people realize that I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, in the chat, they're like, okay, everybody, let's just surrender, report Aphelios. And I was like, no, I'm just trying to play a game here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I was like, I actually told them in chat, I'm like, I'm actually a foreigner. I don't really speak Korean that well. And they're like, okay, yeah, report Aphelios. He's trolling because they didn't believe me. So all of our outer turrets go down, inner turrets go down, inhibitors go down. And like, we're losing this game so badly that I was like, you know what? I just want to get this game over with. I don't want to play this game anymore because it's just so stressful. I don't know what I'm doing. And everyone is mad at me. But somehow the other team made the mistake. They kind of I guess, looking back, they overreached. We had a little bit of a fight under our Nexus turrets and we won. I guess we also got their outer turrets as well at some point. And I just started, like, we just started grouping. We just all went together. And I was like, okay, this is more like ARAM. This is like, I can kind of understand what I'm supposed to be doing here when I'm team fighting with everybody in the mid lane. And so that's what we did. And we just kind of ran it down and somehow turned it around and won. I was totally carried there. I will not deny the fact. But I did contribute in team fights a little bit, but I was just so exhausted from that game. Maybe people did report me at the end, even though we won. I'm not sure. Nobody said anything. Everyone just angrily left. That was a traumatizing experience. I never played Aphelios in the regular mode ever again. As you might imagine. It was a trial by fire. And so after that game, I actually started researching. I actually went on the internet and started Googling, like, how to play Zed. How to play Aphelios. I started looking at guides. I started like finding out what summoner spells did, which ones were good to pick, and what kind of runes to use, and what kind of items I'm supposed to get. Like before that, I would just use whatever was recommended in the shopping menu, you know. And it's like, I started researching what champions are supposed to go top lane, what champions are supposed to go mid lane, what champions usually go bot lane, what is an ADC, how do you support, how do you do vision, and like all those things, watching replays. And it was so much content. I remember I just stopped playing and I was just watching things and listening to things. And that was very educational for me. And after that, I started playing a little more consciously. I still sucked. But game by game, little by little, I improved, got better, and, you know, I am where I am now, which is trying to get into silver. So yeah, that was my story of how I started playing League of Legends and what kind of things I went through. Zed, Warwick, Kayn, Saya, Nunu, all of those were milestones for me. Even though in the end, I don't really main any of those champs, I still hold them near and dear to my heart. You know, hopefully in the future as I keep improving, maybe someday I'll upload a video that's like, how I got to Challenger. Well, how about you guys? Can you share your story? First time playing League? How were you introduced? And how was it like for you? Who was your first champion main? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. This was Zoya, the Russian Korean. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.